He was found not guilty of racketeering, not guilty on count 2 and 4, which were the charges, but he was found guilty on counts 3 and 5. Those were the transportation for the purposes of charges.
There's a theoretical possibility that he walks out on probation. Now, do I think that's going to happen? No, but the max is 10 years. Even if you were to take both sentences, and he's not going to get 10 years.
But it sounds like your attitude was a little bit stronger than that on that set.
Well, I was a little pissed about a couple things.
It's rigged. That was Mark Wahlberg's blunt reaction as headlines about Diddy's trial swept across the globe. But insiders say there's more to Mark's words than outrage. Rumors point to a chilling past encounter with Diddy, one that made Wahlberg turn his back on music forever.
I had some opportunity to really come back in the music business with the best. With the best. When they came to me, we sat there together and I was like, I had to say, I can't.
What really happened between these two power players?
You got more dye in that beard than Diddy wears.
All right, that's enough.
And I know.
That's enough.
But I seen him. He shows me behind the curtain.
And why does Mark's warning feel like the beginning of Hollywood's next big scandal? Within minutes of the courthouse doors opening and the news breaking across every major network, one voice cut through all the chaos louder than the rest. 50 Cent. And what he had to say about Diddy's verdict left the entire hip-hop world speechless. As 50 put it when sharing what appears to be another AI-made image to Instagram, Diddy beat the feds and is thus a bad man. After a trio of clapping emojis, 50 added his explosive reaction, "Beat the Rico, he the gay John Gotti." The reference to the late mob boss of New York City's Gambino crime family wasn't lost on anyone. John Gotti got the nickname the Teflon Don after he secured a wave of acquittals in the 1980s. But 50's comparison carried a deeper, more controversial implication that had the internet going absolutely wild. But here's the thing that nobody saw coming. Diddy didn't just beat some charges, he practically walked away from what many believed would be a life sentence. And the industry veterans who've been watching this unfold, they're not surprised. After 6 weeks of testimony that had the entire entertainment industry holding its breath, U.S. District Court Judge Arun Subramanian's courtroom became the epicenter of one of the most shocking verdicts in hip-hop history. The jury of 8 men and 4 women deliberated just over 2 days before delivering verdicts that left prosecutors, defense attorneys, and spectators stunned. Hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs faced 5 serious federal charges in his racketeering conspiracy case. But when the verdicts were read, it became clear that the prosecution's seemingly bulletproof case had more holes than anyone anticipated.
He was found not guilty of racketeering, not guilty on count 2 and 4, which were charges, but he was found guilty on counts 3 and 5. Those were the transportation for the purposes of charges.
The maximum prison sentence is usually just 10 years for each count of transportation charges. That means Diddy could potentially face up to 20 years total, but legal experts are already predicting he'll serve far less. For someone who many expected to receive life in prison, this outcome felt like a complete victory. And that's exactly what set 50 Cent off like a nuclear bomb. What happened next in that federal courtroom is what really sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community and had industry observers absolutely livid. Because this wasn't just a legal victory. It was a full-blown celebration that felt like a slap in the face to everyone who expected justice. Before he was led out of the courtroom by marshals, Sean Diddy Combs knelt down in front of his chair and bowed his head like he was praying. When he stood up, Combs faced the gallery and clapped, prompting the gallery to clap and cheer like they were at a concert instead of a federal courthouse. Combs' attorneys all exchanged hugs as the gallery continued to cheer for them. Combs faced his family, his face beaming with pure joy. He said, "Thank you. Love you, Mom. I love you. I love you. I love you." His voice carried across the courtroom, filled with emotion and relief. His family and friends erupted into applause. Some family members wiped tears from their eyes, but these weren't tears of sorrow. These were tears of celebration, of vindication, of a family that believed their patriarch had been wrongfully accused and was now partially vindicated. After Combs left the courtroom, the family section started chanting "Dream Team" to the lawyers who slapped each other on the back and embraced like they'd just won the Super Bowl. Defense attorney Teeny Geragos hugged members of Combs' family with tears rolling down her cheeks. lyrics, overwhelmed by the emotional weight of the moment. To many observers watching the live coverage, it looked like a victory celebration. And for victims' advocates, survivors, and critics, it felt like a mockery of the justice system. The optics were terrible. A man who had just been convicted on 2 federal charges celebrating like he'd won the lottery. But here's where this story takes an unexpected turn that connects directly to someone who saw the dark side of this industry decades ago, Mark Wahlberg. Officially, Diddy and Mark Wahlberg crossed paths somewhere around 2013 when the two launched a high-performance alkaline water company. But word on the street suggests that the two men met much earlier when Marky Mark was desperately trying to revive his music career after leaving his East West record label. He was looking for a fresh start, a positive start, far away from his checkered past, and he thought Bad Boy Records was going to help him. Now, the reason Mark didn't end up as a Bad Boy signee is subject to many speculations, one being that Diddy allegedly requested. Now, that might sound unusual and a completely fabricated story, but it could be a distant possibility if Jaguar Wright's words are anything to go by. A few years ago, the I Can't Wait singer alleged that Diddy was in the business of sleeping with new male artists who came to him for financial help. She narrated a story of a lawyer who worked for Bad Boy Records but had to quit because she chanced on Diddy receiving from singer and actor Christopher Williams.
When she walked in, the door wasn't locked, so she didn't think twice about just walking in. And when she walked in, she saw Christopher Williams performing on Puff.
The lawyer quickly got out of the room, leaving the two men to do their own thing. Throughout the whole of that day, Diddy didn't say anything to the lawyer. However, he confronted her the following day, asking her about what she had seen in his office. The petrified lawyer then asked why the CEO didn't lock his office door before getting down to business. This question apparently infuriated Diddy, who claimed that the building that housed his office was his and he could do anything anywhere in the building and no one could question him.
He said, I can make a man suck. I can make people do anything for money.
Wright continued her narration. She was a wonderful woman and she was a brilliant attorney and she thought she was signing up for the ride of her life. She continued, you know, she was going to be head of legal at Bad Boy Entertainment and be a female. Like that was a big deal. Until she accidentally walked in on her boss's office and caught him getting head from a movie star, which he said was done for nothing more than an exercise of power. But to understand why Mark Wahlberg might have walked away from any potential deal with Diddy, we need to go back to his rap career and what really happened behind the scenes. Actor Mark Wahlberg has been adding salt to Diddy's injuries as the embattled CEO of Bad Boy Records undergoes investigations for several crimes. And according to sources, Marky Mark, as he is affectionately called, is rumored to have said that he quit the rap industry because of Diddy. Yes, you heard right. The official story is that Marky Mark wanted to be a rapper but chanced on acting because he wanted to make ends meet when he struggled to get his musical career off the ground. However, the unofficial story is that Wahlberg quit music because of Diddy and what he saw in the hip-hop industry. According to Deep Throat sources, the excesses he saw at Diddy's house and in studios across the nation forced his decision to quit music and focus on movies. However, the sources claim that you wouldn't hear this from the Father Stu star as he's planning to make a comeback into the rap industry and doesn't want to upset his future record label. Initially, Mark Wahlberg wanted to follow in the footsteps of his older brother Donnie Wahlberg, a founding member of the boy band New Kids on the Block. He was actually a member of the original band, but had to quit to pursue rap, his foremost passion. He founded Marky Mark and Funky Bunch with his friends Hector the Booty Inspector, Ashley Ace, and DJ T in 1991. The group went on to release their first project, Music for the People, earning a hit with their single Good Vibrations.
Yo, it's about that time to bring forth the rhythm and the rhyme.
Many fans started warming up to the new group and their rap as it resonated well with them. They also enjoyed another hit with their second single, Wild Side, which peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot Singles sales chart, getting a gold certification in the process. Things were going great for the group when they opened for the New Kids on the Block during their last tour. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch began to spread their wings when they launched their own video game, but the venture received relative success compared to their music. Undeterred, the group released their second LP, You Gotta Believe. However, it didn't yield the success that their debut album achieved, getting only a minor hit single with their title track. Things began to go downhill for the group as they struggled to hit the initial heights they achieved when they first started. In 1992, Mark Wahlberg made things worse for the group when he co-signed Shabba Ranks' comments that gay people should be crucified. The gay community rose up in arms against the rapper and called for his cancellation. They requested all the brands to drop him as an ambassador and discouraged fans from patronizing his music. His comments brought him so much heat that he had to relocate to Germany to revive his music career. In Germany, the burgeoning rapper signed with East West Records and worked with the late reggae artist Prince Ital Joe. Finally, Marky Mark breathed new life into his music, and his career took off once again. His track United became a hit in Germany, topping several of their local charts and earning immense praise from fans and critics. Seeing how their initial project was well received by the Germans, Wahlberg and Prince Ital Joe teamed up for a second project, the Remix album, in 1995 under Ultraphonic Records. His success in Germany allowed him to put together a musical act called One Love with him as its producer and also sometimes its lead singer. He also started production on a third studio album. He featured in their song titled That's the Way I Like It, which received relative success compared to his own projects. Soon his label started pushing him in the direction that he didn't want to go. They wanted him to have a tougher outlook, similar to Eminem, and do gangster rap, but the young Marky Mark's head was in another space. He had served time in jail for attempting to unalive Johnny Trinh, a Vietnamese-American veteran who fought alongside the American forces in the Vietnam War. He was sentenced to 2 years in jail, but only served 45 days due to his release. Now a changed person, Marky Mark wanted to do music that would positively influence his fans and unite all the racial classes in America.
From the day I woke up in prison, realized the mistakes that I had made and the pain that I had caused people, I committed to turning my life around, which was not an easy thing to do.
However, his music label didn't want that. They wanted a street persona that would talk about sleeping with women, doing beefing with his mother, and calling out anybody who disagreed with him. In an interview, Wahlberg stated that he would have succeeded if his label had bought into his idea. I think I could have been a lot more successful had I been allowed to do what I wanted to do. I think the record company had one specific idea, and they wanted to go for that, Wahlberg explained. Initially, he went with the labels, especially because his brother Donnie was successful and he was broke. I had just gotten out of jail and I wanted to make a record. I saw my brother making millions of dollars and I'm still struggling, so I kind of compromised a little bit. However, the two parties continued to argue about the direction that they wanted Wahlberg to take until he reached a breaking point and decided not to cave in to the demands of his label. But when they continued to push me further in the opposite direction, that's when I decided not to make another record and to wait out my contract, Mark said. Apparently, Mark had seen enough evil, debauchery, and corruption in the industry and decided he didn't want to be a part of it. He had lived through the disastrous East Coast-West Coast rivalry that claimed the lives of two of the finest rappers of their era, Tupac and Biggie Smalls. He had seen the havoc that people like Diddy had wreaked on the lives of men and women in the industry, and he wanted to chart a new course. R&B singer Chris Brown appeared to echo Jaguar Wright's sentiments when he stated that he got rejected by Diddy because he didn't dance.
And so he was just like, cool. He said, yeah, I like this cool. I don't like this light-skinned nigga over here. This over here. I said,
Many fans thought that the superhero singer meant literal dancing, which he's extremely good at. However, other fans believe that Chris Brown's use of the word dance had an underlying meaning that wasn't apparent to the casual listener. According to them, the no guidance singer meant he didn't dance to Diddy's music, which involved sleeping with him. Now, given the backdrop of what allegedly happened to Christopher Williams at Diddy's office, the fans couldn't be further from the truth. Besides, Chris wouldn't be the only one to have asserted that Diddy wanted his derriere before signing him. A pending court case filed by music producer Rodney Jones Jr. alleged that Diddy tried to force him into when he worked with him. Rodney Jones, who goes by the nickname Lil Rod, explained that the music mogul attempted several times to lure him into his bed, but he resisted. To convince him, the music mogul stated that he had slept with the likes of Usher, Meek Mill, and Stevie J. Now, the lawsuit didn't specifically mention Usher and Meek Mill, but gave clues that perfectly fit those musicians. The lawsuit stated that Mr. Combs had relations with a rapper who hails from Philadelphia and dated Nicki Minaj, apparently referring to Meek Mill. The suit also continued that the other recently performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Las Vegas residency. Usher put on an awesome show at the latest installment of the Super Bowl and recently celebrated his successful Las Vegas residency. As expected, Meek Mill has denied having any sexual relations with the founder of Bad Boy Entertainment. Taking to his social media pages, the I'm a Boss rapper wrote, "I'm from Philly, I don't do coke or freak Molly. Nobody won't even offer me coke because I'm that heavy. No man or woman would ever approach me about gay activity and the whole place don't get flipped. Woke up seeing this on every blog like they know I'm coming. LOL. Y'all see these rappers with gay styles, they want that look. Leave that to them. I come from that gangsta surviving in the jungle. I have the right to say I ain't gay, and I'll trash anybody that play with my manhood. P don't control me, but it's like a high. One love to the gay people, but that juicy P do it for me. I done ran red lights to get that feeling y'all weird on here like devils." However, fans weren't buying his denial, preferring to believe Lil Rod's account over Meek Mill's. The fans even pulled up an old video of Meek Mill chilling in a pool with Diddy calling him daddy and telling him, "I love you."
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
Fans thought this clip perfectly reflected what Lil Rod was trying to explain in his lawsuit. They felt that Diddy took advantage of Meek Mill's vulnerability when he was just starting to sleep with him. Thus, it is possible Wahlberg was subjected to the same demands when he needed help to revive his career, but he held his ground. He had spiraled into teenage rebellion and had walked the path of darkness. He wanted a label that would project his ideas and values, but it seemed Bad Boy wasn't ready to offer him that. Moreover, even if it did, he didn't want to pay the price that allegedly included offering his derriere on a silver platter. Another person who has openly accused Diddy of sleeping with upcoming artists in exchange for a record deal is internet personality Josh Ostrovsky. Narrating the incident on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, the entrepreneur explained that he saw Diddy hooking up with an up-and-coming music producer at a party in Miami. "This was something I've been talking about for years because it's now a documented thing that I saw him at a party in Miami. Some real black excellence that I was not deserving to be at, but I went with a DJ. I took ecstasy and ended up wandering around on some mansion on Star Island. I guess it was his mansion. It's all hot black people and then just one moron with an afro. They're like, whose man is this?" Ostrovsky then mentioned how he chanced on Diddy spooning with the music producer. "I walked in a room I shouldn't have walked into, and I saw him hooking up with a dude, basically," he continued about Diddy. Like, full spooning situation. On seeing the situation, Ostrovsky walked out of the room to a different part of the mansion. It wasn't over yet. Diddy and his men tracked him down and allegedly threatened him not to breathe a word of what he witnessed to any other person. However, he told the story on one podcast, and Diddy's reps contacted him to change the story and claim he was just making things up. "Whatever, I then told the story on a podcast. His people called me and were like, 'You need to say you were joking. Say that you're a funny guy and you made it up for the views.' No, but I did not. I saw it, and he saw me when I came in. Yes, I was a little scared because everyone in the room stopped. I opened the door and was like, 'Is this the bathroom?' Everyone was like, 'No, this is a room where male celebrities hook up.' And then he basically had people call me and threaten me." The threats would do nothing to deter Ostrovsky. He would go on to narrate the same incident in an interview on Hot 97, but the radio station refused to air it for obvious reasons. He then described what Diddy allegedly did to Kid Cudi because he suspected the rapper was dating Cassie, whom he had just broken up with. He blew up Kid Cudi's car. "No, I wanted to get killed by Diddy, but now everyone just found out." Kid Cudi finally told the story. "I've been saying this for years. I've been talking about this Diddy issue for years, and now it's out there." Ostrovsky's statements highlighted the issues that new artists go through before getting signed to big record labels. Worse still, it reveals the decadence that had plagued the music industry for centuries. His words add to the ever-increasing SA allegations being leveled against the CEO of Bad Boy Entertainment. In any case, it is possible Mark either knew about all these allegations or had heard about them, informing his decision to quit music altogether. He probably knew that he wouldn't get the redemption he was looking for in music, given the evil that that some of its gatekeepers were perpetuating. So he had to find solace in movies. And though it has its own problems, at least, he can choose which movies to feature in. So all in all, we can say that the Father Stu actor might have been right in dumping the hip-hop circuit for movies, given all the allegations surrounding Diddy. These allegations gave fans a sneak peek of what actually went on in Diddy's world, and it paints a picture that makes Mark Wahlberg's mysterious exit from rap look less like a career pivot and more like an escape. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.